Hey, good morning, YouTube. It's another perfect day in God's country. Wow, what a beautiful morning. It's like 10 o'clock already. I had to run around, get some paint and all this kind of stuff. We got rained on last night. I had a big adventure here at the house yesterday. Yes, we're back at the $9,000 house. Lucky got work to do, so I can't make my normal videos, but I drug the laptop along again. And, folks, I got to tell you, out here, I was just sitting out here watching this morning the most beautiful woodpecker I've ever seen in my life. And I've seen a lot of woodpeckers, but it's big like a crow, and it looks just like Woody Woodpecker. It's got a big old flaming red head. And he's out here working on these trees out here. I'm going to see if I can't get a shot of him for you guys. Bring my laptop out there. But just a nice, quiet morning. It's a little damp. But I got a little bit of weed eating in yesterday. I got my burn pile burned, almost burned the whole town down because the rain never came. Instead, we got high winds. That was an adventure. At first, the cloud cover was really low, so I smoked up the entire town. About 13 vehicles came drive by to see what was going on. Hey, I always told you it's always a good time working on stuff around here. But anyway, I smoked out the whole town for about a half hour until I really got the flames ripping, and that took care of the smoke. But then the clouds went away and the winds came up, and it was a beautiful sunny day. And I had to tend that fire for about 2.5, 3 hours to keep from burning the whole town down. Because as you guys have seen, I'm surrounded by brush. And while that was wet early in the morning when I started, that sunshine and them high winds dried all that up. So that fire started raging and kept Lucky busy for 2 hours. Then I weeded some more grass or some more field, knocked it down to make it look like grass. And then it got to be a nice day, so I pulled out the paintbrush. Now, y'all seen a little bit of this house yesterday. I don't know if this is going to come out or not, but yeah, this is what I did yesterday. This color here, I call that French cocoa, or they call it French cocoa. I just call it one of my favorite colors to take an old house like this. Now, I'll be redoing all that white trim. I got to scrape all the white trim, and then I'll make that just all flaming white. It'll be really nice. But anyway, that red French cocoa, it's a brownish red type of a color, and it'll make this place, worth, like Jayhawk said, running the weed eater around made it worth about 11 grand, my $9,000 house. And now throw a little paint around, before you know it, she'll be worth 15. Hey, boys. Anyway, let's go see if we can find that woodpecker. See them old trees out there? I promise you, this is one of the coolest woodpeckers you ever seen. We're going to find them. Let's see here. Let's watch. Well, I'll be dipped. He might have left, because I don't hear him a-pecking. Well, he must have heard me talking and decided to shit and get. Anyway, you can see my burn pile's gone. And I cleared some more yard, both here and over there. Kind of did all that. And it's going to work out pretty good for me bringing the laptop along, because I can document my progress, which is something I never did in the past and probably should. My son always tells me, Dad, your truth channel's never going to be successful. And I tell him, well, it already is, son. I just like talking to people. And he says, well, yeah, but there's never going to be enough people interested in the truth. Yeah, my son, he's pretty smart. He's got that entrepreneurial flair like his daddy does. In fact, for all of you who don't know, we live up here on Lake Superior. And Lake Superior, the Native Americans, or the Indians, whatever you want to call them, not the Indians like Alibaba, but the Indians like those kind of Indians, right? When they were here, they called it Gishigumi. That's the name for Lake Superior. The Gishigumi, Lake Gishigumi, the lake that never gives up her dead. So my son tells me not too long ago, hey, we don't have Uber up here. When I want to start my own Uber company, and I'm going to call it Getcha to Gumi. And I'm like, that's genius, son. You come up with that on your own? Hey, not bad for a fourth grader, huh? Get you to Gumi. That could probably be the Uber service up here. I like that. Hey, that's my son. He's got the entrepreneurial. He's gonna be good at business. Anyway, he's already been here, of course, helping me on this house. One of the best things about staying self-employed and trying to live free as the wind up here in the great Upper Peninsula is involving my son and my family with all this stuff. And my son absolutely loves working on these old houses with me. And of course, so that time that we have together is absolutely precious. The only issue with it really is he cries every time I sell something. Every vehicle I sell, every house I sell, he cries. He particularly cried when I sold the 80-acre farm last year in Bruce Crossing. He didn't want me to sell that. And but I get it. It's the way it is. That's something you got to get good at if you want to do this kind of work for a living. You got to know that you got to turn them and burn them, baby. You got to turn them and get paid. Somehow you got to get paid, right? So, with my real estate endeavors, as you all probably know, I have a lot of different types of endeavors up here. But with my real estate endeavors, I have the ultimate partner who I love very much and makes this kind of work just an absolute dream. And of course, cuts my profits in half. But let me tell you, folks, it's absolutely worth it, 100%. It's a great arrangement. My partner is the money, and I am the boots and swing the hammer. I find the deals, make the deals, and call the partner and say, here's what we're buying. And then I call the partner and say, here's your check. And it works pretty well. And like I said, it makes it so that I can do this and keep doing it, and would be a lot more difficult without a partner. Just as an example, I had to buy over $200 worth of paint and supplies this morning, and because of the ultimate partnership I have, that expense gets picked up by the partner, and of course, it comes out in the end. It's not like the paint is free. Comes out of my half too. Y'all get this, how this works. But it's a great arrangement. I highly recommend if you want to, there's a million ways to skin a cat when it comes to real estate. But for buying relatively inexpensive houses for cash, having a partner works really well for me and for my partner. Thank goodness, right? Otherwise, it, wouldn't be worth doing for anybody. So, but yeah, usually the target you want to shoot for when you're buying inexpensive houses is to at least double your money. Now, y'all know that this one we bought for $9,000, so we would be looking to at least triple that if we flip it relatively quickly. Okay, because doubling $9,000, well, you're almost spinning your wheels if you put in enough effort. But I wouldn't have bought this house probably for $9,000 if I thought I could only get $18,000 for it, right? So slap some paint around, clean her up. It's kind of like sometimes there's an old dog that no one wants anymore. Maybe he's mangy, got an injured leg, whatever. And finally he ends up in the dog pound because he was just wandering the road and nobody wanted him. And nobody will take that dog because he's mangy and he's got an injured leg. Well, then the Humane Society can patch up that leg and fix him up and cure him of the mange and groom him and make him look nice and teach him not to bite people. And then the next guy will come along and say, maybe that dog is worth a chance. And somebody will give that dog a home. That's kind of what I do with these old distressed houses up here. I've bought and flipped a variety of different types of real estate, including very expensive real estate. But I like tinkering around with these old homes that there's a lot of reasons why something like this goes for $9,000. And a big part of that is it's beyond what anybody wants to deal with. And when they look at it, they can't see past the neglect and they go, nah, that house probably ain't worth fussing with. So kind of my role with a house like this is to take that house that just kind of scares people when they look at it and go, it needs too much work. And I take it to the level where looks a little inviting, maybe, and a little more cozy and clean. Not finished, not completely rehabbed and finished, but I take it to that level where somebody goes, yeah, this house is worth a shot. We'll put a little more work in this. And I bring it back around, essentially, and get it to the next guy. I bought some vacant properties up here that were sitting for years and years and years because nobody would fuss with it. And I go in and I do my thing to it, and then I get that next guy. I sell it to him. I make a little bread, and before you know it, that next fella's living in that house. And that house went from being where it may have caved in and collapsed upon itself in the next 10 years just from neglect to once again housing a family and being loved and being maintained and preserved. So I take a lot of pride in what I do, and yeah, bring these houses back to life. It's good for the neighborhoods. It's good for the community. It's good for the real estate markets up here. It's good for people's comparables, which, the values of their homes. So it's, so there's a lot to be proud about as well, doing the type of flipping that I do. As I've told you guys before, I pretty much at all costs avoid being a landlord because that comes with so many things. It can carve into your pride a little bit. And old Lucky's too compassionate. Somebody calls me and says they ain't got my check or whatnot. I can't throw them out. Come on, man. So that's not a good gig for me, being a landlord. Too much of a nice guy. And it puts your property at a lot of different types of risk. So I like flipping them. Now, I will sell on certain types of contracts. We talked about that before, but that's a whole different story. So, but anyway, I want to get some footage here just to document my day by day. I'm going to try to get the rest of this bottom done today and maybe much, much more around the other side of the house. And this little room here, as you can see, is begging for some of that French cocoa, right? And yeah, so there's that. Is what it is. I got a buddy coming to probably this week to take a look at that roof and give me a price for getting some new roll roofing on where I got those issues going on there. And again, that's fresh, just blew off kind of recently. No leaks there, nothing like that. Roof ain't in too bad a shape, so shouldn't be that expensive, but old Lucky don't like to climb up that high anymore, folks. Just too risky. We let the young bucks do that. Sometimes you got to learn when it's time to let the young fellas do what they do. I did my share. I ain't climbing up on that roof, y'all. Anyhow, there's a little update. Oh, I guess I should have told you guys, might have seen this yesterday. This is all part of my property. Yeah, I bought that too. How do you like that? That's an old, used to be a house back in the day. Then it became a garage when it got combined with this piece of land that I'm on now. And then eventually it was just left abandoned and collapsed. So got a real nice lot here. Just absolutely gorgeous. Love the lot. So anyway, so I'll be pretty much working on the exterior of the house and the lot. Try to trim up some trees. Anything I can do before the weather chases me inside. Because it is 1 week before Halloween, October 25th, 2022, in the Upper Peninsula. We're lucky we're not covered in snow already. So that's about it. 11 months of winter, 30 days of rain. That's what we get up here. So I'm going to try to get some painting done, y'all. And hey, ask yourself, who can I help today? Maybe I can save an old house. Maybe. Did I tell y'all I'm going to be working on my new YouTube show? Y'all ever seen that show called This Old House? Well, it's going to be like that, only it's going to be Youper style, where I show you how to spend 13 summers painting the trim on your windows. I'm going to call it This Old Back. Stay true, y'all.